What if I told you the Greater Toronto housing market may have just hit a turning point? See, for months, buyers have had the upper hand. Inventory was everywhere, and sellers were competing very hard, and prices keep drifting lower. But now, we're starting to see something very different here. Sales are rising, listings are dropping, and the competition is quietly returning in certain parts and pockets of the Greater Toronto area. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or relocating in Toronto, Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington, or the Halton region, this is an update you need to watch before making your next move. And trust me, the opportunities right now are very different depending on what city and price point you're in. So stick around, let's break this down to you, and if you stick around, we'll give you some buyer tips and seller tips as well. Welcome back everyone to our channel. I'm Jure. I work with the Bekavac team with my wife Lisa, and we help families relocate and make smarter real estate decisions across Toronto, Mississauga, Burlington, the Halton region, and the Greater Toronto area. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, because every month we break down what really happening in the market here in the Greater Toronto area without any hype. So let's dive into these numbers of what's happened in the Greater Toronto area for the real estate game. All right, let's go break down these numbers. Sales activity for the month of April 2026. As you can see the bar chart beside me. So this is the big headlines in April for 2026. The GTA market is tightening, and we can see the numbers reported in the sales of April of 2026 is the units have gone up 7% over year. So 5,946 units had sold for 2026 in April, and about 5,556 units have sold from last year. So that's a 7% increase from year over year. And that's something to keep an eye on. As we know, while new listings actually are coming out 9% drop from year over year. And that's important. That's a good number to listen to if you're a homeowner, because for the first time in a while, buyers are starting to absorb the inventory faster than it's hitting the market. And that's a great sign as a homeowner selling. But keep in mind, prices are still down year over year. So you got to price it correct in this market. And this is why people are pricing it right. This is why it's moving. So let's break down the actual average prices that would be seen that it's popped up from April 2026 now. All right, let's break down the average sales price in the Greater Toronto area. And you can see the bar chart beside me. And we always say numbers don't lie. So we can see the average Greater Toronto home price came down, and approximately prices hovering an average of $1,052,000 in the Greater Toronto for the April of 2026. And that's down from last year. As you can see, last year we were hovering a little over 1.1 million for the average sales price for the Toronto area. That's a 4.9% decrease from last year, as you can see right here in the chart. But what most people are missing here are that, month over month, the prices actually edged higher compared to March of last month, sorry. And this tells us, the confidence may, slowly returning back in the market with buyers. And honestly, this is exactly what we've been watching and waiting for. Many factors: lower borrowing costs, more affordability, and buyers who are sitting on the sideline are finally starting to move. We said there's a bunch from last year that have been sitting back and waiting on the market. So the prices dip and the interest rates will dip, which we see they're not dipping, but they're coming back in the market. And remember, as a homeowner, this is not a full seller's market. Remember that. This is becoming what we call it a strategy market. And like we said, you got to price your own property. That's number one. If you don't price it properly, your house won't sell. And I'm sorry, some people, they don't want to hear the real price. We've had people come back to us and we've listed and we sold it. And we're selling houses under a week because we're pricing it, we're strategizing it. And they're moving fast, and that's true. We have the data to prove it. And this home, homes, and you don't test the market with your home. Don't ever test the price. It'll be sitting there for testing the price and won't move right in this market. Condos, especially in the Greater Toronto and Toronto especially, remain one of the biggest opportunities we've seen for buyers and investors to get in, even a first-time home buyer. If you're thinking about it, getting a condo is a lot of negotiation room. And if you're a downsizer, this is the time to get in. Get that equity from your home and get into the condo market. Now let's compare the 416 area, I love this, to the 905 area and what's happening from detached homes, semis, condos, and towns. Let's break these numbers down. All right, I said I'm going to break down the year-over-year summary. Sorry, I meant to do this first before the 416 and 905 market update. As you can see, the chart, the graph beside me, or chart, or grid, you want to say sales, as you see, 7% increase from year-over-year from 2026 to 2025, as we just mentioned earlier. And the new listings, as you can see, has dropped 9.3% comparative last year. So we're hovering around 17,000 units. New listings in the Greater Toronto Area for April compared to last year was hovering close to well over 18,000, almost 19,000 new listings. Activity listings, you can see, has decreased 6.4%. We're saying that buyers are coming in. This is driving the numbers down. Homes are coming off the market. They're in the market and they're buying now. So, we're starting to see a lot more activity and new activity listings right now, a little over 25,000 units. As opposed to last year, 2025, you're looking at over 26,000 units, hovering on 27,000 units. We average it out. Average price we just mentioned, about $1,052,000 for the average home in the Greater Toronto Area. And last year, it was 1.1 million, a little over 1.1 million from last year for 2025. That's a decrease of 4.9%. Average days on the market, 29 days, as opposed to last year's 25 days, and that's a 16% increase. So you're hovering an extra 4 days on the market with your home. Let's dive into the 416-905 comparison home prices. All right, I love this chart. I love to compare the 416 area, which is the hub of the Greater Toronto Area, to the 905 area. And let's just go to the side of me here and look at detached homes. Right now are hovering in the 416 area. You're looking at about $1,670,000 for a detached home in the Greater Toronto Area for Toronto. And for the 905 hub here, out in Peel in the Halton region, you're looking at about $1,260,000 average for a detached home. And from year over year for the 416 area, you're looking at about 2% decrease in price, and the 905 you're looking at about a 5% decrease in price. Remember, every pocket's different, every price is different. Some pockets in the Greater Toronto Area are doing a lot better than other pockets. More demand depending on the buyer, what they're looking for. Semi-detached homes for April 2026. We're looking at the 416 area about $1,286,000 for a semi. In the 905 area for a semi, on average, we're looking about $800,000 and $49,000 for a semi in the 905 area. Year over year, semi has gone up in price in the 416 area, about 1.5% increase in price, maybe because more affordability. And the 905 has decreased, about 10% decrease in price from year over year. Remember, every pocket's different. I keep saying that. And if you want for your own pocket, we can break those numbers to you specifically by data. Townhomes, the Greater Toronto Area, first in Toronto Area, 416 area, they're hovering about $958,000 for a townhome. And that is a decrease of about 6% from year over year in the Toronto area for 416, In the 905 area, Halton, Peel region, we're looking at about $800,000 on average for a townhome, and that's about a 9% decrease from year over year. Condos themselves, they're hovering in the 416 area about $665,000, and that is about a 6.4% decrease from year over year for condos for 416 area. The 905 area, we're hovering about $572,000 for a condo on average, and that's a 7.5 decrease in price from year over year. And like I said, if you're an investor, first-time home buyer, or downsizers, condo is a perfect opportunity to jump into the market. A lot of negotiation room on that price, and we know that that's a good thing to get into if you're a first-time home buyer. Also, get in there, and we've helped many people do it, and it's a great opportunity to get in there right now. Okay, for buyers out there, here's our tip for you, important tip in today's market. The first tip here: stop waiting for the perfect bottom on the real estate market price. And nobody's ringing the bell at the bottom of a market. Remember that. The buyers who usually win long-term are the ones buying when they have leverage, selection, negotiating power. And honestly, we have that in today's market, and you still have it in today's many segments in the Greater Toronto Area. So something to keep an eye on and think about. Second, target properties sitting on the market over 60 days plus. That happens, they're stagnant. And check the history on that. If your agent's good, check the history on that. That's where we see the biggest opportunity right now in the market. If you're a buyer, a lot of sellers are becoming more flexible with pricing, as we know, conditioning, closing dates, repairing. Even we're putting offers in on the sale of their home too. That's coming back in the market as well. And third thing, focus on a monthly affordability, not just the purchasing price. Slightly lower rates can change your buying power drastically here, but remember that. And finally, stop buying emotionally in this market. Don't be emotional. Look at the numbers, go through. Emotions will kill you. Emotionally, you got to step back and think too, because there's inventory out there and there's options. And use a strategy and negotiate to your advantage in this market today if you're a buyer. All right, our seller tips for sellers in today's market. This market's all about pricing strategy. You got to price it correctly, and I can't emphasize that more than ever. The market decides the value of your home. You don't. And it's not your neighbor like it was in 2021 they sold. And that's what some people hope they're going to get in this market. And this is why your home sits on the market. I'm going to say it nicely. You're being greedy. I don't want to be rude, but that's the truth. Homes are winning right now are the ones that are show beautifully, are marketed aggressively, and they're priced properly from day one, not later. You got to price it correctly. And I'm sorry if you don't like the price, take your emotion off the table. We price it correctly. We've been selling homes under a week. We've already sold 4 in the last 3 weeks with under 1 week and offers on the first day. But buyers today, we know they're educated and they're cautious, and they will move quickly when they see a value and it's priced correctly. But if you feel the home is overpriced, and they just simply wait, and your home will sit longer on the market, and the longer it sits in the market, usually is more negotiation power shifts back to the buyer, and it looks like he gives your house a black eye. There's something wrong with it. This is why preparation matters more than ever in the market today. Don't work with agents just telling you a price that you like to hear. That's why your house sits on the market. Take emotion off. I'm sorry, those days are gone, and price it right, because you got to stage it. Professional video, social media marketing, YouTube exposure, targeting ads, and have a proper strategy in pricing your home. Listen, sell this to everybody. We have people coming back to us now and relisting their home because they didn't like what the price we gave them, and it sold. So the 3 old P's that we call in real estate here at the Bekavac team. These are what these agents do. They put on the sign on the lawn, they put an MLS, and they pray that the market, it's gone. And it won't. And that's why it's stagnant. It's overpriced. Today, guys, if you're a homeowner and you're selling, strategy wins. And we have that strategy. If you want to work with us, just reach out to me and my wife, Lisa, and we'll walk you through how we sell homes in today's market. So where do we go from here? Here's what we're watching very closely heading into the summer market. Will the inventory continue to start tightening? Will more buyers jump back if the rates stabilize? Will sellers who delay their listings, holding it quickly, finally enter the market again? And does this become the beginning of a more competitive second half in 2026 in the real estate game? Because right now, guys, the market is quietly shifting, and you gotta go with the market and how it shifts. It's not exploding, it's not crashing, it's shifting. It's shifting, so you got to know how it works and how it shifts in the market if you're a homeowner or a buyer. And people are making smarter moves today are the ones understanding strategy, timing, and negotiation, and work with an agent that knows what's doing. Listen, guys, I know a lot of people have a driver's license. Some can't drive. It's the same thing with real estate. you got to work with a realtor who knows what they're doing, not just selling you at a price that you want to hear. Strategy is key in today's market. If you're homemade selling, that's why. And reach out to us here. We'd love to help you out. All right, if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or relocating anywhere across Toronto, Mississauga, Burlington, Oakville, the Halton region, Lisa and I would love to help you guide you through that process. Whether you're moving, when the move is happening in 9 days or 90 days, the strategy matters more than ever in today's real estate market. Drop your questions below in the comments and tell me what area you want us to break down next for you. And if you found this update helpful, make sure you like, subscribe, or share the video to anyone you think this might be helpful for. And once again, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you in the next market updated video.
Everything we touch turns to sold.